On October the 19th and the 20th, the Business Society organized the 20th International Conference of Private Business Organizations. In this occasion, the third carried out in Spain, the conference bordered a subject that fully affects the survival of the present economic model, the economic and social consequences of an aging population. Representatives of counterpart organizations, eminent investigators and experts on the subject discussed about the impact of the reversal during the last decades of the population pyramids of the developed countries. Host of the conference, the president of the Business Society, Claudio Boada, summarized the contents of the conference as follows.
We think it's urgent to adopt measures related to healthcare and pensions. It's reasonable that organizations like the Business Society and others that have participated in the mentioned conference pay special attention and dedicate themselves to warn the population on one hand. Contrary to logic, there is a certain short-sightedness of the government's side, as those measures only last as much as one term of office, whatever its duration may be. We encourage the governments to take those measures so that, in one way or another, we may be able to face those inevitable consequences I have mentioned before.
His Majesty, the King Don Juan Carlos, officially opened the conference.
Uno de los fenómenos que concentra las preocupaciones de gobiernos y ciudadanos, en particular en las naciones más desarrolladas,
one of the phenomena that worries the governments and citizens, especially in the most developed nation, is that of the progressive aging of the citizens. For time, especially in the societies where the welfare condition is likely well established, the demographic situation offers a more complicated panorama. This topic is not an exclusive patrimony of the most prosperous countries, as the least developed states, joined to a level of major welfare, begins to suffer similar imbalances.
The Minister of Industry, Joan Clos, also intervened in the opening session. The opening conference was offered by Harvard University professor Martin Feldstein. Professor Feldstein centered his speech on the effects of population aging on economic growth and budget deficits.
So an aging workforce means lower increases in productivity from this source as well. In short, the aging of the population that results from the combination of increased longevity and a reduced birth rate will directly reduce the rate of growth of the economy by slowing the growth of the capital stock and by weakening the productivity of the labor force. These problems are going to be made worse by the budget impact of the aging population, the subject to which I will now turn.
The conference was divided into several working sessions in which several subjects were discussed, such as health-related costs, immigration as a solution, or pension systems.
I will give you three figures, three numbers to frame the discussion. These numbers are 7, 13 and 10. 7 is the percentage that of GDP that OECD countries on average spend on health and long-term care today. And 13% is the percentage that we, the OECD countries, will spend on average by 2050 if nothing is done. And 10% is the estimate by the OECD that we can reach if we start acting now. So from 5% of GDP to 10 to 13, that's an enormous challenge for all of us.
There is a probability of which one of every 4 persons in this room they will be dependent in some one of the tasks of the daily life from now to 65 years old. In Spain, 1.5 million people coexist with problems that prevent them from developing with total independence for precise activity of the daily life. Dependent, all of us need the help of other persons, but at present, a national system of dependence does not exist unified, but a crucible of services and economic very harmonious benefits. Every autonomous community, and there are 17, spend according to its criteria the budget that it is destined to social policies.
I think you have probably seen similar information today. In the last century, we have been increasing life expectancy for more than 30 years, which is quite impressive. And the projections done in the US is that this is going to continue, which is for me it's very good news. People today will live longer, and people tomorrow will be living even more. So I think everyone wants to live more. The question is not living more. The question is living more and healthy.
The second conference session gave place to the roundtables, from which the conclusions were aroused.
Migration of people between countries and territories are not something new, nor harmful, as in the last 5 centuries, immigrants have been an important factor in the evolution of world economic and of societies. History shows many positive examples that confirm this, not mentioning the Bering Channel or the migration in Asia. Let's talk about the last few centuries. Migration from Ireland, Italy and Germany to the American eastern coast since the end of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century respond from the great surplus of workers from Europe fleeing to the dynamic United States. The same happened to the Chinese migration from the country to the American western coast to help build the transcontinental railway Panama Channel, both of which report economic, social and cultural benefits.
As Mr. Yoshimura said yesterday, Japan is growing and it is aging faster than other countries. And this is happening as a result of a longer life expectancy combined with a drop in birth rates. Last year, Japan's population began to show signs of a decrease.
Let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that as the old man of 92 said when asked how it felt to be such a great age, it is better than the alternative. Secondly, my other positive thought, when I reached 50, it occurred to me that yes, every year, sadly, I get another year older. But the good thing is that so does Sean Connery, so does Paul Newman, so does the gorgeous Robert Redford. Now, I can see some of you men aren't turned on by those film stars that mean so much to me, but remember, gentlemen, so does Jane Fonda, so does Goldie Hawn, and so does the incomparable Sophia Loren.
Xavier Sala y Martín, professor at Columbia University and winner of the Rey Juan Carlos I Prize for Economics, closed the conference with a speech titled Gerontocracy.
Los próximos 20 años, la población entre 50 y 65 años.
In the next 20 years, the number of people between 30 and 65 years of age will go up by 20%, whereas that of people between the ages of 20 to 29 will drop by 25%. Seems like we lie before what resembles a tsunami, a demographic tsunami, where a great wall of heads approaches at great speed, while behind this wall of water there's nothing at all.
As a finishing touch for the debates, Labour Minister Jesus Caldera closed the series of interventions.
I would like to point from this moment onwards that personally, I think the real challenge that we face is not the aging of the population such as that, but the capacity to convert these changes into a source of opportunities. Aging is not a negative thing. That we live longer, it's not a bad thing. On the contrary, it's something very positive. What we have to do is change this inexorable process from its vital demographic point of view in a source of social and economic opportunities.
The 21st International Conference will tackle the subject, the economic, politic and scientific aspects of global warming.